Certainly. The 10 plagues of Egypt are a significant narrative found in the book of Exodus in the Hebrew Bible. They are a series of divine punishments inflicted upon Egypt by God to convince Pharaoh to free the Israelites from slavery. Below is a detailed exploration of each plague, its significance, and the broader implications within the narrative. The story of the 10 plagues is central to the Passover celebration in Judaism and plays a crucial role in understanding the theological themes of liberation, faith, and justice. According to the narrative, God instructs Moses to demand the release of the Israelites from bondage in Egypt. When Pharaoh refuses, a series of calamities befall Egypt, each increasingly severe and demonstrating God's power over the Egyptian deities and Pharaoh himself. Before starting the video, you are requested to subscribe to the channel and like the video and give your valuable feedback by commenting. The first plague occurs when Moses, at God's command, strikes the Nile River with his staff, turning its waters into blood. This results in the death of fish and makes the water undrinkable for the Egyptians. This plague directly challenges the Egyptian god Hapi, the god of the Nile, showcasing that the Israelites, God has dominion over nature. The blood symbolizes not only the judgment of God but also the suffering of the Israelites who relied on the Nile for sustenance. Following the first plague, God sends a plague of frogs that swarm Egypt, entering homes and bedrooms, and covering the land. The Egyptians worshipped the frog goddess Heqet, who was associated with fertility and childbirth. This plague illustrates that even the creatures worshipped by the Egyptians are subject to God's will, further weakening Pharaoh's resolve. In the third plague, Moses strikes the dust of the earth, turning it into gnats that inflict pain on humans and animals alike. This plague marks a shift in the severity of the plagues. The magicians of Egypt acknowledge that it is the finger of God at work, indicating that they can no longer replicate the miracles. It serves to humiliate the Egyptian magicians and their practices. The fourth plague brings swarms of flies that invade the homes of the Egyptians but do not affect the land of Goshen, where the Israelites live. The distinction between the Egyptians and the Israelites emphasizes God's protection over his people. This plague exacerbates Pharaoh's plight and serves as a warning to him of the consequences of his stubbornness. In the fifth plague, a severe disease strikes the Egyptian livestock, killing many animals while the livestock of the Israelites remains unharmed. This plague demonstrates God's sovereignty over the agricultural economy of Egypt. It also reflects a direct challenge to the Egyptian deities who were associated with cattle and livestock. The sixth plague causes painful boils to break out on the skin of the Egyptians and their animals. The boils also challenge the health and medical practices of Egypt. Pharaoh's magicians, who are still present, cannot stand before Moses because of the boils, illustrating the total defeat of Egyptian religious systems. The seventh plague is an unprecedented hailstorm that devastates crops, kills livestock, and injures anyone caught outside. This plague introduces a dramatic display of nature's rage under divine command. God clearly differentiates between the faithful and the unfaithful, as the Israelites are spared from this destruction. When Pharaoh still refuses to let the Israelites go, God sends a swarm of locusts that consume any remaining vegetation in Egypt. The locusts represent a powerful force that devastates the land further, solidifying the idea of divine retribution against Pharaoh's defiance. This plague is particularly significant because it threatens Egypt's economy and food supply. The ninth plague results in utter darkness over the land of Egypt for 3 days. The darkness is so thick that the Egyptians cannot see one another. This plague not only showcases God's control over light and darkness but also serves as a judgment against the Egyptian sun god Ra. It emphasizes both the physical and spiritual blindness of Pharaoh, who continues to defy God's will. The final and most devastating plague results in the death of every firstborn son in Egypt, from Pharaoh's son to the lowest servant. The Israelites are spared by marking their doorframes with the blood of a lamb. This plague signifies the ultimate act of judgment and the assertion of God's authority. It leads to the liberation of the Israelites, marking the beginning of their exodus. The ritual of Passover is established during this plague, which has lasting religious significance. The 10 plagues of Egypt serve as an integral part of the liberation narrative within the Exodus story. Each plague builds upon the last, escalating in severity and revealing layers of meaning regarding God's relationship with humanity, his justice, and the liberation of the oppressed. Beyond their historical context, these plagues provoke deep theological reflection on power, faith, and the consequences of disobedience. They remain a powerful symbol of hope and resistance for many, particularly within the Abrahamic faiths, and continue to be remembered during religious observances such as Passover in Judaism and various Christian observances. As we reflect on the 10 plagues, we are invited to consider the enduring themes of justice, faithfulness, and the relentless pursuit of freedom. In a contemporary context, these narratives remind us of the ongoing struggles against oppression and the power of faith to confront injustice. Thank you for watching the video. Subscribe to the channel and like the video. Be sure to give your valuable opinion by commenting. Thanks.